Good morning, everybody. Wes and I were talking. We ware doing our live and on Fridays today. Don't know if that's going to last. And one of the things that him and I were talking about um, was the balance. I'm switching things up with you, Wes, right now. Was the balance now that we're going from winter to spring, right? Winter, spring, and summer. Okay, I had a problem here. You know what was going on? I had the YouTube live, and then I was hearing me on the thing. But anyway, so we're going from winter to spring, and Wes was saying, "Man, I don't necessarily want to do my live on a Friday morning, right, at 9 a.m. because I am setting up my thing that I may want to go out of town, may want to enjoy whatever thing on the lake." And I said, "Hey, I'm going through the same thing, trying to adjust the best months of the year, right? You being in the Midwest, and we were through a freaking crazy winter. This winter was not the kindest to our cars, to our wallets, to the power bills, and everything else. And now things look to be, right? Looking up, right? You say, what did you say, Wes, on our last episode? Things are
Going in the right direction.
Yes, that's you kept repeating that on our last episode. And I believe that there is some truth to that. But now that things are going to go in the right direction for your business, for my business, for a lot of folks that have the months, right? May, June, July being the strong months of revenue and customers, etc. How are you going to balance your life? Like, are you going to block days that you can also, as a business owner, enjoy those periods, right? Like, how are you doing this? Wesley Rosenberg. That's a cool topic.
Yeah, what I try to do is, I try to look up online stuff that's going on in my area.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hypothetically, I know this sounds kind of weird, but like, for example, rummage sales or some kind of charity event or something that would be fun to do. And, I try to then block those times out so I know I can attend those things. You know, like everyone's trying to do spring cleaning now, so rummage sales are going to be a hot item relatively soon here, and they're going to be all over Facebook. I love going to rummage sales, and it's not because I like to buy a bunch of other people's things.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting to look into other people's lives through their things, which is kind of interesting, and talking to these other people, getting to know some people I don't even know. I got welcomed on their property because they got a little sale going on and I get to chat with them. I just really enjoy that.
That's how it is.
Yeah, and I like to do like weekend runs and stuff like that, and maybe go up to just go on a run, get my car and drive and just find a place to hotel it for the night and things like that. Jay was saying, "Well, man, I thought you were just this lonely single guy sitting in the house on the weekends with just the dog." And that has happened, but I don't wanna be that. It's just, when you're single, that's the way it is, and I try to make my life active to do a lot of fun things like that, so.
Hell yeah.
Hey, did you by chance see that video about that employee that, worked at a toilet paper factory or something?
Oh, yeah, yeah. The
Warehouse?
Kimberly Clark employee, I guess, in Ontario, right? So we have to talk about as a suspect. So we had this. There's this video, and this dude lit a fire. Let's see if it goes on the screen. But he lit a fire on I think it's a distribution center, and he will be saying, what did he say? Let's see if I can play. Hold on. so the guy, so essentially, the guy said, the guy says, "There goes your inventory. Should have paid us a livable wage, right?" And he burned the whole place down with. And these guys, and I think if I go further out on the video, said that his position was making 40,000 a year. 40,000 to 50,000 a year. I do not know specifically the market, housing market in Ontario, Canada, but I have read and watched pieces of media and news talking about how the medium price for a house, right, a single family home in Canada is above, definitely above 400,000, if not 500,000. So just simple math, simple, understanding. If you make 40,000 in Canada, how can you live? And rent's the same thing. They are not the most affordable. So they're like, "Oof." I don't know. There's what, 16 people working there. That's it. 16, sorry.
Well, just a little this is what I always use when I'm looking at property. For every 1,000 they're asking for it, the property, so you said 500,000. I usually then buy, and that's kind of what my payment is gonna be. It's not gonna exceed 9, and that includes taxes, it includes everything else. Um, that's, like, I'm looking at property and quick math, like, okay, oh, they want this much money. How much will my payments be on this? That's what I do. So if we did that math for a $400,000 home, we would kind of know what this guy's payments would be. But it really doesn't matter. And I'll tell you why. It's because it wasn't his property to burn. Yeah, you're on mute.
Agree. Agree. It was not his property to burn. And I kind of knew you were going to say that because I wasn't doing a thing on a criminal aspect, right? Of evaluating whether his action was righteous or not righteous. I don't think it was righteous for him to burn and cause the inconvenience and etc. It's not the point. Right? He will pay for what he has done, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
he's facing his charges. That's with the justice. But these reactions from him, at least they're getting more media attention, I'll say that, right? Because you have the Luigi guy that did the United Healthcare CEO that got, knocked out when it was a couple years ago. You also have, like, a little bit of a trend on YouTube and Instagram of some React videos that folks are doing like a POV, right? A point of view of the employees themselves, and folks are at work, like showing, look at how empty this restaurant is, or complaining about the boss, or saying, look, I'm working 12 hours, right? Doing, for example, Uber, and I made $250. And I had to work with my car for 12 hours to make $250, right? So those things, like how much I don't know what the solution is, but I'm seeing more and more of that. And my question as a business owner, when you are creating your business plan and you are setting up, right, the cost of the product or the service and everything that goes in between, and you finally come up with your staffing plan, right? How am I going to staff once I scale? How are you, and you guys can comment, or what factors are you using to define the base pay of the specific position or the compensation package or whatever that is, right? Are you factoring in where the person lives? Are you factoring in the livable wage? That's what the guy said, right? Should have paid as a livable wage. Or are you just going for supply and demand, right? If all the plumbers in Wisconsin are making $27 an hour, if I want to be competitive, I may give them 29. If I want to just stay a little lower, I may give them 27 or stay right in the mark. But if I'm hiring janitors, for example, and the market is paying them $14 an hour, should I go and pay them 25 because you know what I'm saying? That's the thing. What are your thoughts?
I do like to pay someone a livable wage. We had this situation like that with the position of receptionist. And I f- I could have got away with paying her like a minuscule amount of like $25,000 a year. I just wasn't going to accept that. I thought that was crap.
Mhm.
However, I also look at the skill set and what they have to bring to the table. If you're coming in at ground level with no education, no background, no experience, I'm not going to pay you a high wage. And another thing I've been thinking about a lot lately too. A lot of times people, when they get in, employees get in a position, they come on board and they come with clean clothes on and they're happier than hell and highly motivated at the beginning. But after they start getting into the groove of things, a lot of times they start becoming their real selves and getting kind of cocky or arrogant. And then they want to start demanding things. Hey, I want a new truck. I want a new truck to drive. Things like that. And they start threatening about quitting and things like that, thinking that they're that valuable. And
Hmm.
in the past, that used to bother me that, they would, were threatening, hey man, if I don't get what I want, I'm leaving. And I was like, I hated that when I had that attitude. And now I've changed my ways, the way I think and do things. And I get rid of them right away. Because if you're not on my fucking team, excuse my language, if you're not on my team, you're not on my team. I don't need you. If you're not here to help me and me help you and be a team to accomplish something, and now you want to start putting these individual demands in place and want more money and things like that, you got to go because you're not focused on the team and how we're going to move forward and be successful. Another thing too is some guys come to me and they say, "Yeah, man, I need a raise." I says, "How much you want?" "Well, what do you mean how much?" "Oh, you say you want a raise." Some of my managers, for example. I said, "What do you want? $100 an hour? $200 an hour? What are you looking for?" I says, "You can have whatever you want, but you got to be able to bill for it. If you can't bill for it, you can't have it." So think reality. Think reality. I mean, if it's not there to be had, that position doesn't warrant that wage because you're not going to get it out of a customer when you sell that service. You can't have it. I don't know what to tell you. It's that simple. You're on mute.
So you must be able to bill for it.
Yeah, you have to be able to bill for the to cover the cost, to cover the cost of that service. Your material costs go up. Your maybe not your material, your labor costs have just went up. So now you have to be able to bill for it. That's how I look at it.
No, I actually, I agree. You got there.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. So when you say how much you want, what do people tell you?
It starts giving them a wake up call. Yeah, I guess I'm I guess I can't have that, you know. And I says you got to make some changes in your department, for example. I think you could do this and do that, and I think those will start reaping the benefits or the money that you're looking for, and then we can get you a raise. But right now, it doesn't make sense in the way you're quoting work or it's not covered in our costs. So we have to fix that before we can give a raise. Another thing too is accountability. I'm starting to lose my patience for no accountability. Like people try to pass the buck. Well, no, so and so was supposed to do that. I gave it to her to do. No, that kind of stuff. I'm like losing my patience for it, and it's not needed in the business. So I've been nipping a lot of that stuff in the butt a lot quicker. You know,
Does it feel good?
yeah,
It
yeah.
does,
It
doesn't it?
actually, and I don't get off on you know pissing people off and things like that. But I'm looking at it more from perspective of we're trying to go a direction. And with going this direction, are you on board? Are you on board to go this direction? And if we are, how wonderful. If not, you got to go or you got to change. It's that simple. And usually, if you got a cancer's cancer. It can't be healed. They got to be gone. Got to get rid of them. They're not going to be on the team. They're just going to hurt you can't retrain it. You can't fix it. It's their attitude. Game over. You got to go. That's how I look at it. If you're
And if
not on
it's
the
go
team, you're off the team,
Yeah, do it.
and it works.
Yes, it's never a comfortable conversation. I don't think it is. If it becomes too comfortable, something is wrong. When
Exactly.
it becomes too comfortable to have those conversations, something is wrong on your system and. But yeah, so essentially you're saying if you are setting up your compensation package, hmm. But yeah, I mean, you try to go a little bit above, but you're not gonna go extra because people will not be what?
They don't have the talent. They don't have the talent or the experience or the knowledge behind them to warrant the higher wage.
Think about this though. Convenience stores. A lot of them, they are paying their workers in cash. All right. They have them come, whatever. $10, sometimes $12, sometimes $15. Very few of them do the whole benefits thing. But if they do, that pay is going to be 10 to 15 at most. 10 to $15 in Cleveland an hour. I don't think it's very livable for one person.
Well, let me do the math real quick. So it would be $15 an hour times 2080.
Sure.
Those are how many hours are in a year.
Yeah.
Okay, 50 times 2080 equals. Wait a minute. I did that wrong. Bear with me. 50 times 2080 equals. Oh, 15. I'm sorry. I was like 50. I was like, that's a lot of money. 15 times 2080. That's $31,000 a year.
How much?
$31,000 a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, let's take 20% off of that because that's going to be their taxes. So 20% would be what, $6,000? Yeah. So and then you're looking at they're living on $25,000 a year. What is poverty? Poverty is what?
That's
12,
close, right? That's
12,
close. I
24?
think I think it was. What? Well, we can look it up.
Yeah. What's
But
poverty
but but you
level?
see, but hold on, before we go look it up and becomes a statistic type of show, I don't think we need to go there. But you see how low we're getting that we're asking, is this poverty level? Is this not right? For someone that will be coming to work and will be doing, and they will have the skills for that job. I'm not saying that there's no skills. It's the job. They do the job. I see them doing the job right now. And I think that that was the point of this guy, right? He was in Ontario, Canada, for all intents and purposes, from my knowledge, and somebody can comment that I'm wrong, has a higher cost of living from that standpoint than a Cleveland, Ontario, Canada from here.
Right.
Um, and their taxes, I guarantee you, is more than 20%. I don't guarantee you, but I believe that they have a little bit higher than the 20% that you just talked about. 40, might feel like a 25. Excuse me, 40 might feel like a 31. You know what I mean? Like a 40,000 there might feel like a 31 here. That's my point.
You know what I did one time years ago? I did it, and I remember at the time I was making $42,000 a year, and I asked myself, what am I really living on? I get paid $42,000 a year. This is a year project I did,
Mhm.
by the way. And I said, okay, what I'm going to do for this whole year, I'm going to determine how much I pay in taxes. And I went and I paid income tax. I had property tax. I had sales tax. And I added all those up for everything I purchased, and I was living on $12,000 a year. I was spending money for $12,000 a product to survive and live on, but I was getting paid 42. All the rest of it went to taxes, either in property taxes, income taxes, or sales tax.
Yeah, that math, it's not mathing, but I agree with you that the amount of taxes that we pay will go, and you were paying the property taxes, thank God, because you had a property to pay taxes on, right?
Yeah.
So you got to think that that person is not, but they are shelling out, this much on this and this much on. So it's not really apples to apples, but I do feel your pain. I feel your pain right now, in fact, right? Like taxes went up. And here's the thing. We are now paying for as a property owner in Cleveland, we're now, I feel like in my taxes, I'm paying for the 2020, 2021 boom in a fairly depressed market. So my taxes went up. It lags right behind what the property sold for several years. So now the adjustment and things like that. In fact, there's a friend of mine that called me. She needed help to dispute the tax increase, dispute. And for that, she needed like a comparative market analysis that we got to do it and you have to submit for a certain date. So got to do that for her. But those are all interesting things that, as a homeowner, and if you have multiple properties, you effectively are a business owner, and you have to look at that bill, as something that you have some control over, especially when it's raising, because there's a set of criteria, right? That you can dispute. And sometimes you're talking about a difference of a couple $1,000s, right? You multiply that by a few properties and you're leaving that money on the table, and it should have been yours. So that's on. We went full circle a little bit. I don't know what the right ratio of pay is, but I think what I do believe that when I am coaching folks and helping folks like strategize their business plan and how they are going to grow and what their staffing plan is going to be and blah 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 blah, I'm also thinking of, is your business even feasible? Because you are sort of anchoring sometimes, right? You anchoring the expansion and the growth of your business on someone accepting $12 an hour, right? Because people say, "Oh, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna have 20 people doing X, Y, and Z, and it's gonna be $12 an hour." Like, where are you gonna find them? You know what I mean? Like, where are you gonna find them, and it's gonna be okay? Are you going to have, folks like not happy with the place of work, right? That kind of thing is also sometimes is a matter of saying, no, you shouldn't even start if that's what you think, right? Your profit margin will be. So when someone says, oh, my TAM, my SAM, my this, my market ability of making the dollars is this and that and the other. Like, okay, but let's go back to the micro thing. Your cost of producing one widget, one little thing, how much is it? How many humans go into that? How many failure points you have, right? It goes down to that. How can you scale if you know your workforce is going to be beyond or below or near the poverty level? It is very difficult,
Well,
right?
you're gonna have a big transition of people, probably working through a temporary help agency, and you get what you pay for,
That's right.
and you get what you pay for. So, in the event that you're getting $12 an hour, you're gonna get $12 performance.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So, sometimes don't get me wrong, I try to take care of my people, but there's gotta be accountability on their end too. And we're talking about technically this guy who is non-skilled in Canada. I mean, he maybe had a fork truck driver's license, but you're not gonna pay the guy what you would pay an attorney, or you're not gonna pay a guy what you'd pay a plumber. It just or a real estate agent. You're not gonna pay him what a real estate agent makes because
Mhm.
there's a little more brain work, there's a little more intelligence is what kinda dictates the value of what you're worth, you know?
Mhm.
So, I'm telling you what, people are always going to be the number one major problem in any business. People's characters, people's personalities. It's always gonna be the entrepreneurs or the owners' biggest challenge in every business, I think.
I agree, and I also, at the end of the day, for those kinds of grievances, of course, maybe it's a little bit of a clickbait, but it was a clickbait to me because I watched it. Like, I was like, it's tough to watch. At the end of the day, there are ways that folks can organize and unionize and this and that and do picket lines, and that person did accept that pay, right? That person, they, being in Canada, no one pushed them to come to work and accept the pay, et cetera, et cetera. So the burning of the thing is dumb, but it makes for good news and does get some conversation. But I don't think I'm changing anything on the way that I do business because now there was a person that was irritated in Canada and decided to burn the building down. So that's nothing changed for me, but it makes me wonder, damn, that the large corporations are using algorithms to set the pay. That the pay of like the overall person that works for an Amazon, Google, et cetera, is, completely determined, or by great part determined by how can I pay the least and get the most. Right? It is. They
Yeah.
have too much data. There's too much information for them not to take advantage of that. Some regulation or some boundaries there are necessary, because people who are in power, the folks with a lot of money, right? The billionaires, etc. I don't believe that they give a shit. Like they're not like, nope, you guys have free will. You guys fight for your rights. I'm on this side. I'm playing the game of the Monopoly guy. I mean, like you guys play your game, I'm playing my game, and I'll continue spending my resources to keep more of my resources so I can keep doing what I do. That's my belief about like folks that have a ridiculous amount of money or any amount of money. You try to protect your own money. That's your self interest.
But I have a tendency to disagree with you a little bit there. Sometimes a person who's got a lot of money, he's above that part now. He usually has someone below him dealing with that. So actually, he's sheltered from seeing it. You know, it's below him. That's with one of his executives dealing with the people and making sure they get paid and things like that. A billionaire ain't running the company. A billionaire is getting fed information and making decisions from it. And that's it. And it's not the fork truck driver's wages. He's getting he's getting different questions answered of him, and he's answering to different things, whether it's a yeah, another deal, a bank, an attorney. He's reports from the executives in his company, but not the little petty arguments about wages and stuff. That's something that's below him. So he may be being sheltered from that part of the where he doesn't give a shit. He just doesn't know it's existing. Does that make sense? When you're that big, you don't have all the details in your company. You know, you're beyond that. That's why you break it down and make this Christmas tree of leadership. You know, you have people below you taking care of that. How many billionaires you know running the company or sitting behind a desk coming to work every day? You don't. You don't see that. You see them doing
I
other
wasn't
things, and their time is occupied with other things.
it wasn't my sorry interrupting, but it wasn't my claim that they were on the granular level making these decisions or even worrying about that, right? They're worrying, yeah, it's below their level. And there lies the problem. Because there is the belief that there is a level. You are responsible for, everything you are influencing and where your dollars are going, right? So if I have 25 people working for me, they're doing things at the behest of my enterprise, right? So I think that that should be part of the concern, and if it's not, the billionaire needs to hire better people, right? Because I'll say this: the things are getting to a point where there are some people say this, and I hate tending to agree a little bit. The disparity in income, not even in income, forget income, the disparity on the ability to live a pleasurable life, a life that you work 5 days, 5.5 days a week, but you get to enjoy. You get to do a couple things, right? Get a decent car that doesn't break on you, and you know what I mean? And then, or if it does, it's not $3,000 or a month's salary or 2 weeks salary just to replace something simple. That stuff is becoming harder and harder to achieve. Harder and harder to achieve. But the billionaires are continuing to get more and more and more money. The money is getting more concentrated, Wes. Even I can say those things even though I feel I'm doing okay. But it's still true that things are getting more concentrated. At some point, the bow breaks. But these guys, they're playing a different game because they don't care, right? They're buying, compounds in Montana. You know what I'm saying? So I think you hit the nail on the head. These concerns that you have, that I have, that I see that my customers have, that you see that your customers have, having to make that decision, do I replace this water heater right now, even though I should? I'll wait another couple months. Or do I put in a credit card and pay 40% a year? You know what I mean? 35% a year just to get that done because it's a safety thing. That's all those things that you and I live. It's below their level.
Yeah,
Below their level.
it's below
And
their
that's
level.
exactly the problem. It's because I believe that we that are below their level, we're all in the same boat, man. Like we are sometimes one, knock on wood, disaster away from, losing 10 years of progress in our lives, right? So we are, and it's a risk that we have to pay. But what we watch and what we see and who we talk, it's always saying, no, 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 it's all individual. Like, hold up, man. There's a big ol' ass difference from having 50 million and having 200 billion. The 50 million people are out here still donating to the causes of the 200 billion people, thinking that they're going to be saved. The masses will probably eat them alive if things come to shit. You know what I mean? The 50 million kid still gonna be drafted, I guarantee you. Just saying, So this is a vent session as far as like, more people are in the same group and should be fighting for similar causes and interests than they are. And we're kind of divide and conquer too much. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
where we shouldn't. That's really my point on this. But anyways, it is Friday. Plans for the weekend?
Yeah, there's a franchise show in Chicago this weekend, and I'm gonna be working that, trying to sell my franchise, and that's exciting. It starts tomorrow at, I believe it starts at 10 o'clock and goes till 5, and then on Sunday, it starts at 11 and goes till 5. So that'll be exciting. We'll get some leads, and that's gonna push me into a new world of getting really busy next week because 'cause I'm gonna try to qualify those leads.
Love it. You
Yeah.
know what? You said that, and there was a smile on my face. But I got an email this morning from Hospitable, which is our partner, our CRM partner, and I was awarded 2 tickets for the Midwest Real Estate Conference. So I'm going to take my wife. It's going to be in Detroit. So we're going to make a weekendish thing out of it. But really getting, ears on the ground to what's going on in this market, right? This Northeast Ohio, which gets a little bit of Michigan, et cetera, et cetera. Going, with the invitation of Hospitable, with all the support of Keller Williams. Remember Lisa that we interviewed last year? So we're doing some different things here in Cleveland as far as investment opportunities in a semi-stress market that is not stressed on every level of property, right? Because we are, as we drive through the neighborhood and the deals that are coming on the table, seeing reductions of $20,000, $30,000, right? Prices, I would say, that predate 2021, 2020 on some multifamily properties. So that's kind of what we're seeing. And now it's really curating and understanding where are the opportunities for growth for something that is not completely beat up and requires all the crap. So interesting things, excited. Hope you sell your next franchise pretty soon there.
Yeah, me too.
And but this weekend I don't think, what do I have? Oh, I'm doing my famous burgers this weekend. So I'm buying a one of those. It's not a griddle. Like the one of those griddles.
Flat top?
Flat top, there you go. Buying one of those that I've been eyeing for a little while. And we're gonna do a weekend event. If Saturday is the sunny day, it's gonna be Saturday, but it's gonna be sort of last minute. It's gonna go out to all of the guests, and they can come to the backyard, and we'll have just burgers and refreshments and things like that. And it's going to be the same burgers that we used to sell in Mexico during COVID. That it was really good. So hopefully people enjoy it. I sure will, because I'll be cooking them.
Is that a secret recipe?
Yes.
Oh, so you can't tell it online.
Hell no. It's not that secret, but whatever. But it is.
You have a caveat to it.
There you go. There's a caveat to it. There is one, but yeah, I'll keep you updated. We did have the live this week. You guys will also see on the Serials Grind a couple episodes on the live in São Paulo, Brazil, at the Quatai Studio House. So we're doing every Thursday. We might change the time there, but every week we're stopping by and seeing the progress of the project. You guys can see the facade is already coming up. All the bedrooms above, all the rough work is already completed, ready for the finished tiles like this. And basically people are going to be selecting between, oh, I wanted to show myself only, did I? Whatever. It sucks. But I wanted to show the later on, but it's between option A and then option B behind me, right? So the same room can be, or the same studio can be kitted in two different manners. Same layout, but it can be kitted in two different manners, attracting, different types of crowd, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't believe they will attract different types of crowd, but people will enjoy in a different way. Like some folks love that very woody, tons of wood on the closet space and stuff, and so folks just enjoy just more clean designs, right? So it depends on the investor, it depends on how you want your micro hotel to look. So you guys can, subscribe, look at the notifications. You guys are interested. There's always a link to sign up. Wes franchise is called Econo Sewer and Drain, right?
Yeah.
And it is also a great opportunity for those that are mechanically inclined. I would say, like they enjoy the service business. Correct? Is that the folks that you're after?
Yeah. So the correct person that we would look for is someone who's got a great attitude, doesn't have to be the A student in high school.
That's how you guys sell it. I
No,
love it.
no, we're looking for employees that are seniors in high school with a great attitude and a good work ethic. And we don't want
Mm.
the A student. We want the C student, the guy that's hungry.
Wait. The C student is hungry, but the A student is not?
No, the A student's going for something else. See, they look at it from a different perspective.
Wait. Hold on. I have a point. I have something I watched, and it was funny. They were talking about this. A lot of folks that were the A students are now realizing that the path that the C students used to take is a more guaranteed path and is a nicer path, is a path with more predictability. So you might see a change, and this is my question, and people can comment, in the people that are applying to your company. Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't. But what I like about a C student with a great attitude, he's moldable. And he can see without that education behind him, like let's say an A student, we all know the A student's probably trying to go to college, which means he doesn't want to clean drains.
Hmm.
But the C student knows I don't have that knowledge behind me. I'll clean drains. I'm a man of no pride. I'm gonna make some money. And they make damn good money doing this. And they usually come up with a great attitude as well because of the money we pay them. But we pay them though on a commission basis. So if they work, they get paid good money. Well, they put forward the effort. It's a totally different mindset from our pay structure. The more you work, the more you can make. It's up to you. And a C student seems to gravitate towards that and succeeds and does very well. Just to let everyone know on this Econosaur and Drain franchise, if this is something that interests you in your area, please reach out. We can discuss and talk about the benefits of purchasing this franchise, the return on your investment, and how this would work and how we would coach you. So I don't want to choke you with this stuff. But if you're not happy in the position you're at, let's talk about it. That's all. Throwing that at.
I love it. That is perfect. And with that, it is 9:59, and we are going to go ahead and seize the weekend. Weekends for statewithj.com in Cleveland are usually the busiest times. So we always want to make sure that everything is set. More to come. More to come next week, and we'll chat soon. Subscribe, like, comment, do the thing.
Stay
Later.
true, everyone. Take care.
Everyone
Did you
thinks that
enjoy
the
this?
CEO is just
Subscribe
this
for
big
more and turn
luxurious
on the
position,
notification
where no, it's a
bell so you
position
don't
of problem
miss a
solving
first
at
on
the highest
location
level.
CEO's
That's what a
Grind
CEO does. Make
episode
sure that we can
this
still
Sunday.
make things happen.
Did you
Keep the
enjoy this?
numbers right.
Subscribe for
Make
more
a
and
make a
turn on the
profit. That's our
notification
job.
bell so you don't